Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today with a feeling. A feeling I think we've all had, even if we, don't really have a word for it.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Go on.
It's that feeling you get when you've completely mastered something. Maybe it's a job, you know every corner of it. Or, a better example, maybe you've played a video game to 100% completion.
Ah, yes, the completionist's dilemma.
Exactly. You've found every single secret, unlocked every achievement, you've mapped out the entire world. And for a moment, that feels incredible. It feels like control.
Total mastery.
But then, almost immediately, this other feeling creeps in. It's this profound boredom, a kind of existential grayness. Because if there's nothing left to discover, what are we even doing here?
It's the so what moment, the end of the road.
Right. Now, take that feeling, that Tuesday afternoon boredom, and scale it up. Apply it to the entire human race. Imagine a world where we've solved the how. We have the tech, we've got colonies on Mars, we have synthetic food that tastes absolutely perfect every single time, but we have completely run out of the why.
That is a terrifying thought.
It's the terrifying, claustrophobic premise of the novel we are breaking down today.
It is a book that genuinely, and I'm not exaggerating, kept me up for 3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
It's called Kusur, which translates from Turkish as the defect, or my preferred translation, the flaw.
The Flaw, I like that better too. It has a more philosophical ring to it.
It does, and it's by a physicist and writer named Burak Kuskun. And honestly, to just label this science fiction feels like a massive disservice. It's more of a philosophical thriller that uses quantum mechanics to completely dismantle your ego.
It's a heavy book, but in the best possible way. It scrambled my brain and then put it back together in a slightly different shape.
Yes.
And I think that's the whole point. The book argues that the scramble, the flaw, the glitch is the most important thing we have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And before we really get into the deep stuff, the time loops, the crystal labyrinths, the number 137, which we will definitely get to.
Oh, we have to.
We have to. But first, we need to talk about the voice behind this. Because Kusur isn't a case of a writer just, Googling a few physics terms to sound smart.
No, this is the real deal. This is coming from inside the house.
Right. Burak Kuskun. He's a contemporary Turkish writer, pretty young, born in '94, but his background is intimidatingly legit. He's a physics engineer. He's done research on neutron stars and magnetars in Sweden and Germany.
So when he's talking about astroparticle physics, he's not just skimming Wikipedia.
Far from it. This is the guy who translated Richard Feynman's graphic novel into Turkish. He writes for popular science journals. But here's the crucial part, the thing that makes this book what it is.
The other half.
The other half. He's also a poet. He writes philosophical fiction. He lives right on that razor's edge between the cold, hard math of the universe and the messy, beautiful, poetic narrative of just being a human being.
And that duality, that tension, is the absolute DNA of this novel. It's a story about what happens when the math breaks and the poetry leaks through.
Well said.
So, our mission today for this deep dive is to explore how Kusur uses these incredibly hard science concepts, quantum mechanics, topology, to tell a deeply, deeply human story. A story about grief and ego and the very nature of time itself.
And to try and answer that central question, why might perfection be a trap? And why is the flaw, the Kusur, absolutely essential for reality to even exist?
Okay, let's set the stage. The hook of the novel is something called the crisis of physics.
Which is such a fascinating concept because it mirrors a very real anxiety in the scientific community today. In the novel's near future, as you said, technology has won. You've got these lenses, contact lenses, with integrated AI operating systems.
So you don't look at a screen. The internet is literally overlaid on your retina.
Exactly. We've colonized Mars. We have cyborg-like integrations with our tech. Everything works.
But science, the pure theoretical stuff, has stopped. It's dead in the water.
It has hit a wall. That's the crisis. Scientists can describe how things happen with unbelievable precision. They can engineer the perfect food, predict weather down to the second, but they have completely stopped discovering new fundamental truths.
The sense of wonder is gone.
It's dead. They're just refining the decimals on old equations.
There's a scene right at the beginning that establishes this mood so perfectly. We meet our protagonist, Dr. Faisal Zen. He's an astroparticle physicist, so on paper, one of the smartest people alive.
Right.
And he's sitting in this sterile conference hall, listening to another one of these, what he calls bully physicists.
I love that term.
Explain string theory for the 10,000th time. And the description of his boredom is just visceral.
It's not just that he's tired. It's like he feels the collective weight of a stagnant civilization on his shoulders. He's a cynic. He genuinely believes the golden age of discovery is over, and he's just a custodian in a museum of old ideas.
It's the exhaustion of the intellect. We've mapped the entire island. We know where every single grain of sand is. And Fazal is just sitting there thinking, is this it? Is this all there is?
Until, of course, the map tears open.
And it doesn't tear in a lab at CERN. It doesn't happen in deep space with a telescope. It tears in a very specific, very real, and very old location.
Northern Italy.
Okay.
A place called the Troggia Waterfall in a small town named Introbaio.
And I love that Kuskan chose this spot. It's not random at all, is it?
Not in the slightest.
Mm.
This place has a deep historical resonance. It's connected to Leonardo da Vinci.
Of course it is.
Leonardo actually visited this waterfall. He sketched it. He wrote about it in the Codex Atlanticus.
Yeah.
And he wrote a very specific, very strange line about it.
The river ends there.
The river ends there.
Now, in real life, he probably meant it geologically. You know, the river goes underground or dissipates into smaller streams.
Sure, a simple observation. But in the novel, Kuskin takes that observation and makes it metaphysical. He takes it literally.
The river ends there, meaning the river of reality ends there. The flow of causality of time itself just stops.
An anomaly has appeared at the falls, a fundamental glitch in the operating system of the universe.
And the descriptions of this anomaly are just wrong. In the best way. They make your skin crawl because they violate your most basic sensory logic.
Right. It's not just a big light show. It's subtle and deeply unsettling. The water sometimes flows upwards.
Or it just stops, midair, frozen for a second, then continues.
Or it turns directly to vapor with no heat.
Yeah.
Just gone. It defies thermodynamics.
And the rainbows. We have to talk about the rainbows.
Yes. Because, look, a rainbow is usually the most predictable, most beautiful expression of physics in our world, right?
Right. Sunlight, water droplets, refraction, dispersion. You get ROYGBV, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, every time. It's a law.
It's a constant. It's defined by the basic laws of optics. But at Troggia, the colors are swapping places.
So you're looking at a rainbow, and suddenly the blue stripe just replaces the green one randomly.
Exactly. The spectrum is unstable. And for a physicist like Fazal, seeing that is not a beautiful mystery. It's a waking nightmare.
Because it shouldn't be possible.
It's not just that it shouldn't be possible. It's that if that's happening, then everything else can fall apart. It violates something called Rayleigh scattering. It means the fundamental interaction between light and matter is fluid, wobbly.
The constants of the universe are not constant anymore.
The rules of the game are changing right in front of them.
And before we even get to the team of scientists sent to investigate this, we have to talk about the locals, because the village of Introbaio hasn't been evacuated. They're still living there right next to this tear in reality.
And that's maybe the eeriest part of the setup. They have a name for it. They call it Kusur.
The flaw.
The flaw. And in the local lore, they've lived with some version of it for centuries, but now it's become active, powerful. And the villagers, they aren't normal.
There's that chilling detail about what they call the surrender. Some of the locals have just surrendered to the flaw.
And they end up in these states that look like a kind of rapid onset Alzheimer's. They get caught in these repetitive loops, mumbling the same phrase, performing the same gesture over and over. They lose their linear memory and just exist in this confused, looping present.
And they chant.
They chant.
Tempo 137.
Tempo 137.
We're going to put a huge pin in that number because 137 is going to absolutely blow our minds in the second half of this deep dive. But just imagine that scene. You're walking through a quaint, beautiful northern Italian village, and the old men on the benches are just rocking back and forth, whispering 137, while in the distance, a waterfall is flowing upwards.
It's folk horror meets hard sci-fi. It's cosmic dread in a pastoral setting.
So, of course, the UN gets involved. They send in the cavalry, but it's not a military team. It's not a disaster response unit.
No, they send a team of scientists. And Kuskin is so deliberate here, he gives us 4 distinct archetypes, 4 different ways of knowing the world.
We've met Fazil, the bored cynic, the man who's seen too much and feels too little. Who else is on the team?
Okay, so you have Dr. Dinah Liamson. She's a mathematician from Oxford. Specifically, she's a topologist.
A topologist. They study the properties of space that are preserved under continuous deformation, right? Like stretching or bending without tearing.
Exactly. The old joke is that a topologist can't tell the difference between a coffee mug and a donut.
Because they both have one hole.
They both have one hole. But Dinah isn't there just for the abstract math. She has this heartbreakingly personal motivation. She's obsessed with Da Vinci, yes, but more importantly, she's a mother, and her daughter has a severe genetic heart condition.
So she's not just looking for knowledge, she's desperate. She's looking for a miracle that even this high-tech future can't provide.
She's looking for an answer that lies outside the known rules.
Hmm.
Then you have Dr. Kara Huma. She's a glaciologist, an expert on ice.
And ice is such a powerful symbol here, freezing things, preserving things.
It is, and it's her whole life, personally and professionally. Kara carries the deep trauma of losing her husband, Kim, in a sudden accident in Antarctica. She is, both literally and metaphorically, frozen in that moment of loss.
So she studies ice because ice doesn't change, it holds the past.
It's a perfect, tragic prison. And finally, rounding out the group, we have the character we all love to hate, Dr. Damien Betham.
The biologist. But not just any biologist, he's a superstar.
The pioneer of Mars terraforming. He came up with the whole spaceship Earth concept. He's probably got a Nobel Prize.
He's the guy who is absolutely certain he's the smartest person in any room, even when the room is actively violating the laws of physics.
He perfectly represents the ego of science. He looks at a profound mystery of the universe and sees an engineering problem to be solved. He doesn't respect it. He wants to conquer it. He wants the legacy.
So you have the cynic, the desperate mother, the grieving widow, and the egomaniac. It's a psychological powder keg.
And they are walking into a place that functions as a psychological mirror. They think they're investigating a waterfall, but they're really about to investigate the cracks in their own souls. They are the flawed, investigating the flaw.
As they hike up to the anomaly, things get even weirder. We talked about the rainbow, but there's something else they find. The flower.
The Arabidopsis thaliana.
A simple rock cress.
Yeah, a common little plant. It's often used in biological research. It's like the lab rat of the plant world. And this is the moment in the book where the hard science really starts to bend into pure horror. They find this flower, but it's moving.
Not growing towards the sun. Moving.
Right. Plants exhibit phototropism. They turn towards light. We all know that.
Right.
But this flower is vibrating. It's moving in all directions at once. It's reacting to light sources that aren't there.
Or light sources from other timelines. Other possibilities.
Exactly. It's existing in a superposition of states. In quantum mechanics, a particle can be in multiple states at once until it's observed. But this is a macroscopic object. This is a flower you can touch.
Yeah.
And it's behaving like a quantum particle. It's effectively screaming visually.
That image, a flower vibrating in all directions at once, is so deeply unsettling. It's not just weird, it suggests that the consensus reality we all agree on is just breaking down at the seams.
And then, just past the flower, they see the rocks. They're changing shape instantly. One moment, a boulder is a perfect sphere. The next, it's a cube. The next, it's 10 feet to the left.
It's like the refresh rate of the universe is lagging. It's glitching.
Yes. The world is buffering.
They finally reach the waterfall. The water is defying gravity. And behind that shimmering, impossible curtain of water, they see it, the structure.
The crystal labyrinth.
Now, in a normal adventure movie, this is where they pull out their guns and fight a monster.
Yep.
But here, they enter a mathematical nightmare.
Led by Beth, of course. The egoist can't resist. He has to be the first one in. They cross the threshold.
And Kushkin's description of this place is just, it's not fantasy. He uses very specific, very heady mathematical concepts to build the scenery. He talks about breather surfaces.
Yes.
Okay, unpack that for us. What in the world is a breather surface?
I love this concept so much. In a field of math called differential geometry, a breather surface is a solution to a certain kind of nonlinear wave equation. But forget the jargon. Just imagine a shape like a complex web-like surface that is rhythmically expanding and contracting. It pulsates. It literally looks like it's breathing.
But that's usually just, what, a graph on a computer screen? An abstract idea?
Exactly. It's an abstraction. But inside the labyrinth, the abstraction has become physical reality. The walls of the maze are breathing. The geometry itself is alive. They are literally walking inside a living equation.
My head hurts already. And they also encounter Klein bottles.
Yes. Another topological mind bender. A Klein bottle is what's called a non-orientable surface. Think of a Mobius strip, the loop of paper with a half twist so it only has one side.
What?
A Klein bottle is sort of the 3D version of that, though you really need 4 dimensions to build one without it intersecting itself. The point is, it has no inside and no outside. If you were a tiny ant walking along the surface of a Klein bottle, you'd eventually end up back where you started, but on the other side, which is also the same side, but upside down.
So they are navigating a space where concepts like up, down, inside, and outside have completely lost their meaning.
Precisely. It's a closed loop. It's a reality that folds back in on itself infinitely. And as they venture deeper, the labyrinth stops being just weird scenery and starts reacting to them, interacting with them.
It separates them, it isolates each of them, and this is where the book's mission really kicks into high gear, because the labyrinth gives each of them exactly what they think they want.
It acts as a customized reality filter, a bespoke psychological torture chamber, or maybe a bespoke heaven. It's hard to tell.
Let's start with Dr. Betha, the egoist. What does the labyrinth show him?
It shows him his own glory. It drops him right into his greatest hit. He relives the moment he solved the Mars terraforming problem. He's on Mars, he's the hero, delivering the key insight that saves the colony. He is the savior of humanity.
He's living his own highlight reel.
On a loop. But there's a glitch in his vision, too. He's not just reliving it, he's chanting.
37.
137. He thinks he's ascending, achieving the knowledge of all times. He believes he's decoding the fundamental structure of the universe. But from the outside, we see he's just trapped in a loop of his own vanity. The labyrinth feeds his ego until he is completely consumed by it. He becomes a static object, a monument to himself, frozen in his moment of triumph.
It's a perfect hell of his own making. He says, I want to be great. And the labyrinth says, okay, be great forever, over and over and over again, until greatness means nothing.
Exactly. And then there's Kara, the glaciologist, the grieving widow. Her vision it's just devastating.
It broke my heart reading this part. She sees the ice, which is her comfort zone, but inside the crystal walls of the labyrinth, she sees him. She sees her husband, Kim.
He's there, frozen in the crystal, preserved, perfect, just as he was the moment before the accident. And the labyrinth offers her a choice, a terrible, seductive choice. You can stay out here, in the painful, messy, real world where he is dead and gone forever. Or
you can step into the crystal.
you can join him. You can live in that perfect, frozen moment with him for eternity.
It's the siren song of nostalgia.
It is. The word nostalgia literally means the pain of returning home. Kara's entire life since his death has been defined by looking backward, by studying the ice that preserves the past. The labyrinth offers her the ultimate preservation.
And she takes it. She steps into the vision. She freezes.
She chooses the perfect, static past over the flawed, uncertain future. And that, in the logic of this book, is a form of death.
Tana, the mathematician, her experience is different. It's more complicated. She doesn't just get trapped in a loop. She gets a tool, something she can take with her.
She stumbles upon a sketch. It looks like a lost drawing from Leonardo da Vinci, hidden within the anomaly structure. And looking at it with her topologist's brain, she instantly realizes what it is. It's not just a piece of art. It's a blueprint.
It's the solution.
It's the solution to her daughter's heart defect. It's a design for a valve or a way to manage blood flow that accounts for the complex vortexes perfectly. It solves the fluid dynamics problem that is killing her child.
And this is where the narrative gets really bendy. Does she just find a piece of paper, or does she actually change reality?
The implication is that she does more than find it. She shifts. She travels to, or maybe creates, a timeline where she has always had this sketch. She effectively breaks the continuity of the universe to save her daughter.
This reminds me so much of the movie Interstellar. You know that scene where Cooper is in the Tesseract behind the bookshelf?
Yes, absolutely. Love is the one thing that transcends time and space. In Interstellar, Cooper uses gravity to send a message back in time to save all of humanity. Here, Dinah uses the Kusur the Flaw to save her one specific human.
But the question lingers, doesn't it? Is the reality she returns to the one where she saves her daughter? Is it real? Or is it just another, more convincing layer of the simulation created by the labyrinth?
And that's the beautiful ambiguity Kuskun leaves us with. She escapes the labyrinth, but she's clutching a piece of the anomaly. She has brought the glitch home with her. She chose love over objective truth.
Which brings us finally to Fuzzle, the cynic, the protagonist, the one who, in a way, chooses truth over love, or at least over comfort.
Fuzzle gets separated from the others and finds himself in a part of the labyrinth that is quieter, less reactive. He's wandering these breathing, crystalline corridors, and he meets a figure.
An older self.
A figure that looks like him, but ancient, weathered, resembling a Sufi dervish or a sage. Now, usually in science fiction, if you meet your older self, you immediately think time travel.
Right. Don't get on the plane. Buy stock in this company.
Exactly. But Kushkun is playing a much different, much stranger game. This isn't Fazil from the year 2050 coming back with a warning. This is potential Fazil. It's a manifestation of his own consciousness, a higher dimensional aspect of himself, trying to explain the unexplainable to his limited 3D self.
And the conversation they have is the absolute philosophical core of the entire novel. The sage uses an analogy that, quite frankly, is the best explanation of time and existence I have ever come
A
across.
film reel.
The film reel, it's brilliant.
It's so simple and so profound. Let's break it down. The older self asks Fazil to imagine a film reel. Let's say a pristine print of Casablanca.
Okay, I'm with you.
If that reel of film is sitting in its metal canister on a shelf, untouched, what is it?
It's the whole movie, every frame.
Is it moving?
No,
Is it changing,
you're right.
decaying?
It's static.
So in that state, the images on the film are perfect. They're high resolution, eternal. The beginning of the movie exists at the exact same time as the end. There's no entropy, no decay.
It is, by definition, perfect.
But, and this is the huge mind-bending question the sage poses, is there a movie?
No. There's no story being told. There's no experience.
Exactly. For the movie to exist, for time to happen, for a narrative to unfold, what do you have to do to that reel?
You have to put it in the projector. You have to thread it through the gears, pull it past a lens. You have to blast it with intense light. You have to move it.
And that movement creates friction. The gears grind on the celluloid. The light creates heat, which slowly degrades the image. The movement creates blur between the frames. The older Fazil explains that what we call life, what we call time, consciousness, change, is simply the wear and tear of the reel moving through the projector.
So perfection is the frozen, static state on the shelf. Perfection is effectively death.
Yes. And the flaw, the kusur, is the
Well,
movement.
sure.
The kusur is the friction, the heat, the blur. Reality requires the defect to exist. If the universe were truly perfect, it would be a static, frozen block of information. Nothing would ever happen.
That is, wow, it completely flips the whole idea of fixing things on its head. We spend our entire lives trying to fix our flaws, trying to make our lives, our work, ourselves perfect. But the book is saying that if you ever actually succeeded, you would cease to exist.
Precisely. The anomaly at the waterfall, the perfect hotel clerk in the story who keeps glitching and aging rapidly, they are entities that are trying to achieve that static perfection. But to a living, moving observer like us, they look like monsters. They look broken.
This connects everything back to that number, 137. We promised we'd deep dive on this. Why is that number, 137, the holy grail of this book? Why are the villagers chanting it?
Okay, buckle up. This is real physics. It's one of the most beautiful and frustrating mysteries in science. The number is actually 1 over 137. It's called the fine structure constant, and it's usually written as the Greek letter alpha.
And it pops up in quantum electrodynamics, the theory of how light and matter interact.
It does. It basically characterizes the strength of the electromagnetic interaction. In simple terms, it defines how tightly an electron holds onto a photon. It's the fundamental number that dictates how light and matter talk to each other.
Okay, so it's a measurement, like the gravitational constant or the speed of light.
But here's the rub, and it's a big one. The speed of light is measured in meters per second. The gravitational constant has units too. But 11,137 is a dimensionless number. It's a pure number. It doesn't depend on what units you use. If you met an alien species from the Andromeda galaxy, they wouldn't know what a meter or a second is, but they would know the number 1147.
And physicists hate it, right? Because they have no idea why it's that specific number.
They despise it.
Yeah.
Richard Feynman, again, Kuskin's hero, called it one of the greatest damn mysteries of physics. He famously said, all good theoretical physicists put this number up on their wall and worry about it. Because you can't derive it from first principles. It's just there. It's a magic number that the universe is built on.
And it's a Goldilocks number. It has to be just right.
Exactly. This is the fine-tuning argument. If the constant were slightly different, say 1138 instead of 1137 stars, wouldn't be able to fuse carbon atoms. There'd be no heavy elements, no planets, no organic life. If it were 1136, matter would be too unstable to exist. Atoms wouldn't hold together properly. The entire universe would be a uniform, boring soup.
So our entire complex, messy existence is balanced on the knife edge of this one seemingly random number.
And the novel's brilliant leap is to suggest that this number is the flaw. It's the primordial cosmic imbalance. It's the specific, tiny deviation from a perfect number like 0 or 1 that allows complexity in Life the Movie to emerge from the static.
So when the villagers are chanting Tempo 137, they're chanting the source code of reality. The tempo, the rhythm of the universe's defining glitch.
They are, in their own way, worshiping the glitch that keeps them alive.
Fazal finally understands this. He gets it. He understands that the perfect world he was so bored with at the beginning of the book was a complete illusion. The real truth is the chaos of the waterfall.
and he has to make a choice. The labyrinth, through the older self, offers him perfection, total knowledge, no more pain, access to the entire static film reel. But he rejects it.
He chooses the flaw.
He chooses the blur. He chooses the messy, painful, beautiful, unpredictable movement of the movie. He realizes that a life without the possibility of loss, without the friction of time, isn't a life at all. It's a simulation.
And he wakes up.
I know.
Or does he?
That ending is just a masterclass in ambiguity. He seems to be back in his office at the university. He's being hailed as the hero who solved the Trogia crisis. But then he looks at his computer screen, and there's a single line of text.
Simulation ended.
Chills. Every single time.
It implies that his return to reality might just be another more sophisticated level of the Labyrinth's game. Or, perhaps more disturbingly, that his entire life, and by extension our entire lives, are just simulations running on a loop, and he just finished one playthrough.
There's a reference to a poem at the very end of the book, something about a prisoner of dreams in a dark room at the top of the mind. Fazal is awake now, but being truly awake just means finally realizing you're in a cage.
So Dinah has her miracle sketch, but lives in a fractured reality she may have created. Kara is frozen in a perfect past. Betha is trapped in an infinite loop of his own ego. And Fuzzle knows the truth, but may be trapped in the simulation forever.
Nobody wins, not in the traditional sense, but they all get exactly what their deepest flaw, their deepest desire pointed them towards.
I want to zoom out for a second. We've talked about the math and the plot, which are incredible. But where does a book like this sit culturally? Because it feels so different from a lot of mainstream American sci-fi.
It is profoundly different. This is part of a rising, really exciting wave of Turkish speculative fiction. We saw in the notes that Kuşkun was included in the first ever anthology of Turkish science fiction stories published in the UK by Transnational Press.
It was part of a post-humanism series, right?
That's right. And what makes this new wave so distinct, and what Kusur exemplifies, is this incredible synthesis. You have the Western hard science, the references to CERN, NASA, Feynman, quantum physics, but it's seamlessly blended with Eastern mysticism, specifically Sufi philosophy.
The dervish figure in the labyrinth, that's not an archetype you'd find in an Arthur C. Clarke novel.
Not at all. In Sufism, there's a very strong tradition of questioning the nature of consensus reality, the idea that the physical world we perceive is a veil or a dream hiding a deeper truth. Kuşkun takes that ancient metaphysical concept and maps it directly onto quantum topology. He's asking the same question from two different languages. Is the universe a machine, or is it a thought?
There's that line from the book, the strings of the mind must be broken to free itself from the shackles of time.
And it's so beautiful because it works on both levels. It's poetic and mystical, but in the context of the story and string theory, it's also literal physics. You have to break your linear perception of the world to see the whole film reel at once.
It also reminds me so strongly of Stanislaw Lem's Solaris.
Oh, absolutely. Solaris is the undisputed godfather of this kind of introspective, philosophical science fiction. In Solaris, humans travel across the galaxy to a planet with a sentient ocean, trying to make first contact. But the ocean isn't interested in talking. It just reflects their own deepest traumas and griefs back at them in physical form.
Lem's famous quote from the book, "We don't need other worlds, we need mirrors."
Exactly. The crystal labyrinth in Kusur is a mirror. It doesn't contain aliens or monsters, it contains you. And 9 times out of 10, that's much, much scarier.
It also has echoes of Borges, the idea of the infinite library, or the garden of forking paths.
The labyrinth is a very Borgesian structure for sure.
Yeah.
It's infinite yet enclosed. It's a physical paradox made of crystal.
Yeah.
A library of possibilities that you can get lost in.
I think what really stuck with me, though, beyond the high concept stuff, is the social commentary. We talked about the boredom at the start, but the book is really a powerful critique of our modern obsession with perfection.
Absolutely. We live in an era of Instagram filters, of AI that anticipates our every need, of biohacking. We are actively trying to smooth out every single rough edge of human existence.
We want the perfect body, the perfect career, the perfect vacation photo, the perfect relationship.
But Kuşkun is holding up a giant stop sign. He's warning us. He's saying, be careful what you wish for. If you actually achieve that seamless, frictionless perfection, you stop moving. You stop being human. That glitching hotel clerk, che è perfetto, he who is perfect, that's a warning sign. If you polish humanity too much, you erase it.
It reminds me of the Japanese aesthetic concept of wabi-sabi.
Yes, finding beauty in imperfection and impermanence. The cracked teacup is considered more valuable and more beautiful than the pristine one because the crack has a history. It tells a story.
Kusur is basically high-energy physics wabi-sabi.
It's arguing that the fine structure constant, that magical 1137, is the cosmic crack in the universe's teacup, and we should be profoundly grateful for it.
Because, as Leonard Cohen said, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.